Hello and welcome to Merciful Love. My name is Mercy, and today I'm with a friend that I met on the Bhakti Marga path. These are the first few people, the first few Africans that I met on the Hinduism path. And so far it's been, I think, more than 3 years because I met them in 2019. For her, she was in a group called Ubuntu. That is how they found Bhakti Marga, because they were doing Om chanting, and then their teacher was a Bhakti Marga devotee, and the teacher now connected them to the country Swami, and then from there it has been a ride to now where we are. So it has been a pleasure. We've helped each other, and I've learned so much from her, and that's why I invited her today, because I'm pretty sure there's so much to learn from her. I have learned a lot, and she's an amazing person. And yeah, you listen. If you feel like there's anything that you need to add, or there's a misconception or something that you do not understand better, you can comment. And as we say, we are here to help each other. We are here to heal. We are here to grow. And we are here to be our authentic selves, so that you can have a true connection with God and live life in a wholesome way. So she's going to introduce herself. I know her names. I know her spiritual names. I've known her for a while. So welcome.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Rose Wanjeri Ndishu, but my spiritual name that I was given by my guru is Trailokia Sundari Dasi. It's long. Trailokia means 3 worlds. Sundari means beautiful, and Dasi means the servant of. So basically it means the servant of the most beautiful girl in the 3 worlds.
Nice. Okay, so I met you in 2019, around April, May.
Yeah.
So you guys were in Ubuntu.
Yeah, I had just...
How did you come into Bhakti Marga?
I had met... Okay, so I'm a life coach by profession.
Yeah.
And I had met some life coaches in the path,
Mm-hmm.
on the path. I mean, that are on the path with me right now, but we were life coaches together. And they happened to have a meeting. So those life coaches were also in Ubuntu.
Ah.
So when Swami came, Swami is a monk. I don't know if you've introduced them to Swami. So when Swami came, we all called each other to come and see Swami and listen to a talk. We always did that to, advance ourselves. We love knowledge, so we were coming to listen to a talk.
Oh, so what was Ubuntu about?
I wasn't in Ubuntu for long.
Oh, okay.
I had just joined them, and but what we used to do was a lot of spiritual work, a lot of meditation. So they used to teach us how to meditate. We'd go and just meditate on full moons. And I was just starting my journey in spirituality and meditation, and also they served as a community that would understand spirituality. And that was, for me, a community that I felt had started understanding me, because the community that I was in before was majorly school. We were only discussing school stuff, life stuff. So I wanted someone who would go deeper. So that was what Ubuntu was. But I hadn't stayed there for so long before I joined. I found now Swami. Then Bhakti Marga came soon after.
What brought you on the spiritual path?
What brought me on the spiritual path? On the Bhakti Marga path?
No, just generally on the spiritual path, because you are a lawyer by profession.
Yes.
So
Very logical.
So what happened, and then you decided, I want to, let me look for God, or let me look for more in life.
That's my whole life, I think, has been spiritual. It's just that I did not know, I didn't have a way of expressing it.
Yeah.
So, so long story short, I can say that 2019 was the peak of it. But before then, I had certain instances where I used to feel, I'm those people who used to say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And why I used to say that is because I kept having episodes of weird instances, weird experiences which you can't explain logically. And experiences, but it stopped at some point. I think I can't think of an experience right now. But
you just knew spiritual.
What I know for sure is that I always used to feel very close to God since I was young, and I used to be able to do. I used to have like a lot of an example of an experience is having a lot of almost psychic abilities. Yeah, almost psychic abilities, but I used to think I was weird, so I used to suppress them. Sometimes I remember them, and then sometimes I just think, maybe I was just crazy. But that's not even a bigger part of it. The bigger part of it is I used to feel very close to God, but the community that I was in, the relationship that they used to have with God, I didn't feel like it fit with me. So I didn't understand why it wasn't fitting. So through and through, I used to look for an avenue of expressing my love for God, but I never used to get it. So when I met the Ubuntu group, I felt like those guys understood. And by understanding, I mean when we started doing such things as meditation, that is diving deep and experiencing and being able to express how I'm feeling, expressing my love for God or my feelings toward God, that started making sense. It started resonating finally. So I don't know if that answers the question. I am feeling close to God through and through, but I don't have the avenue. Then I meet this group. Then I'm like, maybe I was actually spiritual after all. So let me follow these people. So it was very easy for me to continue following on that path, which is how now I met my guru.
So you mentioned that you used to say you are spiritual, not religious. What's the difference?
At that point when people say that, it's because there's the religious aspect of life in this society is very, especially the fact that we are Africans, it's very church oriented. Yeah, there's someone who says churchianity. It's very church oriented. The rules of church, which I don't like rules, but I do like rules from church. Like it made no sense. When I was young, in my home, we have the extended family. I'm the one person who was a girl who could wear trousers. And then when I went amongst my cousins, I'd be told not to do it. And I'm like, why? Because it's a religious thing. You're supposed to wear long dresses or whatever. I'm like, that's bullshit, man. It didn't make sense. Such things. So I started being like, this God of who I've just come to start understanding is weird. Another thing I've expressed enough is calling God in vain. I do not agree with that thing till today. So I used to want to call God, like if I'm falling, I'll call God like the way I call my mother. And then again, in that same society, we used to be beaten or admonished for calling God. But then I used to argue, if this God is your father, why shouldn't you call him, especially when you're in a crisis? So I used to have, all the things that I was being taught about God didn't resonate with how I felt about God. So, and since most of them were directed towards church, which is what I knew, I started rebelling. It didn't resonate. And it came close to me wanting to break away from that God. Not to mention, when we went to school and we started reading the Bible, I had very many questions about this God who I'm being told is loving in the New Testament, but then this jealous God who's punishing people who he supposedly created. No. So many things weren't making sense to me. So I wanted to run away from that and just work with the relationship with the God that I found in my soul, who I could feel, who was loving, kind, forgiving, all that. So that's why I wanted to separate myself. I'm nothing against the church. Nothing against the church. I'm just saying my experience with religiosity that I found in the society that I came to.
And so when you joined now Hinduism, how was your family, or what was your family's reaction?
Before I even answer the family thing, I want to say, even when I came to Hinduism and I started seeing the rules are still there. Because I think there are more. I was also repelled. I was repelled. I was like, I don't want to do these rules again. What is with these rules? I just want a relationship with a guy. Why am I being forced to do all these things? It's how am I jumping from the frying pan into the fire? I don't want. In fact, I expressly stated that I didn't want to do the so many rituals. I just wanted the relationship with God, and if Hinduism is gonna give me that, then I'm happy to. And yeah, it didn't work out that way. Things later changed.
And how is it that you are more open to the rules
Now?
now compared to earlier?
Because I thought it was the same thing. The rules were just going to bog me down. And that's exactly what I was running away from. But what I liked about the Hindu, this path, Bhakti Marga, in fact, I need to also make it clear that it is following my Guruji, Paramahamsa Sri Swami Vishwananda, and Bhakti Marga, not to include all of Hinduism. Because I've noticed there's something confusing to people about that. There are so many rules, there are so many differences, there are so many intricacies into Hinduism, not to be confused with what I am following right now. Now I'm just following my Guru and the path.
So able to tell us more about the path?
That.
What makes it unique?
What makes it unique is that we have this Guru who is an enlightened master, who is able to give me as Trilokia or Rose the relationship, who is able to help me express the relationship that I so long wanted to express. He has this understanding that I didn't find anywhere else. I did, at some point in time, I found reprieve in church because I found certain leaders in church who were understanding the spiritual aspect. It was helpful up to a certain point. Then after that point was reached, my Guru came and he continued, he pushed me further into that spiritual depth, immersion. I was able to immerse myself more. So the difference is I am following someone who is enlightened, who has walked the path, who has a relationship with God himself. So he's able to teach me how to live that life. So finally I have found what I was looking for that I hadn't found this long. How my family took it? My family was my father, my mother were always very open-minded. They are still open-minded. So they never pushed us into anything. They pushed us into God, but not churchianity. So it was never, there were no hang-ups about you have to do this, you have to do these rules. Like I have mentioned, we were the people who were, I was the cousin who was breaking all the rules as it is, and nobody, black sheep of the cousins. But so they didn't have such a big problem when I switched. Anyway, I was an adult, but they didn't have such a big problem. Also, they had a certain interaction with Hinduism. So they sort of understood. So when I started telling them about the things I was learning, they're like, oh yeah, we know that.
Interesting.
So I can't say they were 100%. My dad was 100%. He's easy. My mom was a bit skeptical because I'm sure she loves me. She doesn't want me to get lost. She's still skeptical about what is this thing. Like any mother would be, she was. But she's come around. So there was not much resistance from my father and mother. But I faced resistance from everyone else. And it's because I've learned of this concept of people what you don't understand, you resist. So because they didn't understand it, they just pushed it away. So I understand them. So I faced that.
And your friends, do you have like friends who are not Hindus at that time?
The only friends that I had that were Hindus were the only people who came to that talk. Everyone else wasn't. So yeah, I faced a lot of, I don't know how to call it ridicule, but it was like low-key, yo, Rose, what is this you're doing? A lot of it. And then I think when people realized I wasn't changing, because I could tell people were waiting, that one day you'll just snap out of it. It's 3 years later, you haven't snapped out of it. So now even when I post like Hindu-related things, nobody comes to my inbox making fun of me or making a sarcastic comment. Now people are just easy. They're like, I think they've just acclimatized to me being how I am.
So it means you used to get sarcastic comments in your inboxes and stuff?
Yeah, a lot.
How did you handle that?
Initially, I was very... I used to feel bad, obviously, because who wants to be rejected?
Yeah.
I was hoping people would understand. I didn't face disrespect. I just faced
Ridicule.
I want to call it low-key ridicule, because I don't have friends who are in my face about it. It's just you can feel there's a sense of discomfort around me. And also people who are, yes, laughing about it, but making fun of, oh, you're no longer taking alcohol, or you're no longer taking meat. Oh my God. Yeah, so I didn't enjoy those days, but nowadays it's easy. I think they've just come around.
How did you handle the whole situation? Did you try to explain yourself, or did you block them? How did you handle the situation when that happened?
I used to try to explain myself. Initially, because I was so excited about the path, I was so eager to even tell people, oh my God, I found this beautiful thing, you guys come on board. And then I noticed, no, they were not interested. So I just started toning down on the excitement. And then some of them I had to explain. Now I no longer explain. Now I'm like, well, everyone has a right to choose whichever path they are on. I respect them, they respect me. Now there's mutual respect. But the first days I didn't feel nice. I didn't like that vibe that I used to receive from people. But it's normal. It's just that you want people to understand you, but they don't, and it's fine now, I know. I think I'm matured enough into it. But before, I used to not advertise it so much. It was in phases. Sometimes I was happy about it. Sometimes I was like, I don't tell people. Sometimes I'm like, oh well. Yeah. I wish it was better received though.
Yeah. But people, like you said, people resist what they do not understand.
Yeah.
So it is just part of the path, I think, part of the experience and all that. I've always wanted to ask you this question. So we got into the path almost around the same time. Personally, I was so skeptical. You remember, like, I don't know if you remember, like, I was always so quiet. I was just observing most of the time. I was not engaging. But you guys, especially you just went on with it. Like, you are so excited about the whole concept. You are asking questions. You went to pilgrimages. You even went to India.
Yeah.
You went to Mauritius.
I guess. Yeah.
You were in it. You got initiated within how many weeks?
Wait.
Like, what was the drive? What did you see? Like, for me, it took me a whole almost 3 years for me now to be like,
around.
Okay, I'm getting initiated. This is happening now. This is me. I've always wanted to ask you this
remember
question.
You were in my initiation and you didn't even come in.
Yeah, I went to her initiation. I was there, like, it was you and M. I don't think it's okay, like, we mention her name because, her situation. It was you and M who were initiated that day.
Yeah.
Everybody else went for full moon on chanting. Ubuntu.
Yes.
The rest of the group went to Ubuntu. And then, I don't know why I came.
Yeah, why
For
did
some,
you come?
I was just curious.
So you see, your heart wanted, but your mind was refusing.
No, I had to understand because it was so fast. Like,
It was so fast.
it was, I think, at most 3
It was
weeks.
So fast.
Because
Okay,
we had.
But I have to explain.
Okay, what happened?
First of all, on the skepticism, I was skeptical.
Okay.
It's twofold. So when I listened to the talk on Swami, Swami was talking about the Bhagavad Gita. That's the reading he was doing, and it's done over a week because it's 18 chapters. Yeah, I completely fell in love with the scripture. That one, I can tell you, it's the reason why I joined this path. It was the Bhagavad Gita for sure.
For me, that day when I came, I found you guys. You are seated, and it was that story of Arjuna, and was being asked to kill his relatives.
Yeah,
and that was the reason why I didn't want to come in anymore.
That's fine.
It's so different for you.
Yeah,
the Gita was the reason
killing
I didn't come.
people?
Only that was the reason. Like, why are you killing your people?
Yeah,
and this God, he's next to you telling you to kill your people. Is the same God. For me, it gave me the vibe of that Old Testament God, the angry one.
Yes, the one who I have issues with.
I also had issues with him. So I was like, and then, for me, I had come from Buddhism with tolerance,
Shanti Shanti.
Yeah, we were like, namaste. You know, for us in Buddhism, it was all about tolerance, metta, love, kindness. So
You're coming into a battlefield and it's being propagated.
Yeah, and I had left that battlefield in Christianity.
Makes sense.
I had come now to Buddhism, where it is all quiet, all peace, all love, all compassion, tolerance and everything. But now this person is being asked now to be intolerant and encouraged to kill his people, his relatives, even his teachers and all that. And I was like, I'm out of here. I never came back. But then I didn't finish that course. I only came one day. One day. Yeah.
Me, I came all days just because of, like, Aki, that scripture, me, I don't know, by the way. You see, maybe you just got the part for fighting. Because there's so much. What touched me, remember, was Arjuna. I remember Arjuna was asking all the questions that I used to ask. All the questions, because I remember the one for why is a person, you want to go on the right path, you're happy, you're saying ndo ule Mungu, ndo ile shimo. I will not go into this hole because I can see and that's where I want to go. But something in you compels you to just go into the hole. So I was asking, what the hell? So Krishna is laughing and he's like, by the way, there is, so he explains why that happens. It's because of the human nature. I could get Arjuna's frustration. I have never resonated with a person like I resonated with Arjuna. I was so impressed. And then I didn't know it was a guitar. I didn't know what it was he was using.
Yeah, they had printed, They had just printed some booklets.
Yeah, I just knew whatever that guy is talking about, whoever that Arjuna is, that guy is me. I could
relate.
I have never related to someone like that. He was asking all the questions that I would be asking, and then he was getting the answers. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I wanted to come and hear more and more and more. That's how come. I was told.
I never came back after that first chapter, because I think the first chapter is all that story.
Yes, it's the war.
I didn't come back, and I was like, done. I'm done. The only reason I came back was, you remember at that time I was also growing the micrograce and I was looking for a house. And then you had been invited for the dinner at Kay's place. You remember Swami was cooking dinner for us. And
that's the next time you came. And I thought I'm the one who likes food.
I came because Victor told me like, we have been invited for dinner. That's now the next time I came. And then when I came, now there was the talk about Kriya.
Yes, I remember.
You remember that day we left Kay's place at midnight. It was almost at 1.
Yeah. And then we weren't even supposed to do Kriya because it was expensive.
It was expensive.
And then
it was 15K. And then
our problems are many.
It was 15K. And so we had to... Okay, for me, I was like, I'm not doing this. Why are you selling spirituality?
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I had that.
Yeah, you said that.
I remember I said that. Yeah. I was like, why are you selling spirituality? Like, what's the difference between you and Pastor Nganga? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I'm out of here. And then after that, we had that movie day where we were watching the Earthlings. It was called Earthlings.
Yeah.
So the reason why I wanted, so they said it's a must to come see this documentary, and so I went. I like movies like that.
You should put that on the link.
Yeah, the Earthlings. Yeah. I'll try and look for that link and then I'll post it down there. So, and also that other time also Swami was cooking for us. So maybe I like food. You remember?
Oh.
Yeah, he was cooking for us also. That it was also a dinner. So it was a dinner and a movie and a documentary, the Earthlings. So I went back. So going back, that's when now Swami told us, Guruji has said, I should not charge you. You should just offer what you have. So,
oh my God.
What?
I had 100 bob, I think, and 1 shilling.
No, you had 108.
My friend. Ati, why did I join spirituality? By the way, I think I need to go back to that answer again. I was broke as fuck. Wow.
You had 108 because...
Was it 108?
It was 108 because you remember you and Dana, you are putting a petition on something, and then there was, 108 is a significant number.
Nilileta your do by the way. Yeah.
It was for a certain petition. And
no, she had told us if you put money in a red, a certain number, Now I don't even remember how much. It just was 100 and something. I think 107 or 108, whatever. You put it in a red, whatever, and you put it in your purse, it will attract more money. But they never did. But that's the money. That's the only money I had in fare to come. Hey, I think you need to ask me again that question. Why are you doing spirituality? I have another thing to say.
We will come back to it at the end of the we are recording. Because you have a change of mind.
Wow. I had forgotten. Continue.
So that's how now, when now they said, Guruji has said, we should not be charged, that someone should offer whatever they have. I was like, no, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
I didn't have money, by the way. So that day, I used to sell now these school books for assessment books for CBC. So I went, I had gotten a client in Donholm. So I went that morning, the morning that you were supposed to start. You know, I came late.
You were late, yeah.
Yeah. The morning I was supposed to come, I had to go all the way to Donholm, take the books, get paid, then come back.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't have any money at all. So the money that I made now from that sale is what now I put.
How much was it?
Around 500.
Oh.
But that was all the money I have. Because now, you know the advantage I had, you are coming all the way from Kawangware to Parklands.
Yeah.
So you needed transport. Yeah. For me, I was just walking.
Yeah.
So all the money that I had, I put...
Ulifanyia kazi 500, hiyo ni kazi mob. Oh, yeah.
So I think I made around 1,000, and then when you deduct the fare and some of the money that...
Akipole sipoa. Yeah, at least I had 100.
And how did you manage with transport?
I think I had money. I don't know where I used it. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's how now.
I don't remember.
So because now I had...
I think someone gave me, I don't know.
So now, since I had now meditation, I always wanted yoga, because now we knew yoga will now take you to the next level. Because now I had gotten meditation vizuri. So I needed now to go to the next level. I wanted to be a yogi.
Oh, so you had a motive to come for Kriya.
Yeah. No, not for... I had been looking for a spiritual yoga teacher for me to become a yogi. Because, like you said, when you're spiritual, you know who you are. And deep inside, I knew I was a yogi. You know, in life, like, there are different people there. So you can tell. For me, I knew I was a yogi. But to be a yogi, you needed to find a true yogi teacher. A true spiritual yogi teacher. So when now that was offered, and it was literally offered for free. Because, you know, paying 500 for something that was worth 15K, that was literally free. So I could not pass up on the opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's when now I came now back full swing. And now when I learned, I did the Kriya, and you know how many people are taught Kriya by Swami?
Oh, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal because they are Kriya teachers.
Oh. I think I take so many things for granted.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
How
I didn't think about it like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know me, I didn't care, man. I didn't... Me, you see you
Why
are
did you do Kriya?
Because we were there. It was offered. As in... For real. You see how it's... Now I know. Now it's actually making sense to me. Me, I was attracted by the scriptures. Now, the way you're a yogi, I know I'm a teacher. I love teaching. I love reading. I just love it. So I guess that's why, and I'm sure in my past lives I've interacted with the Bhagavad Gita. So even if I'm thinking it's making sense in this lifetime, I think it was my soul that was like, wow, we are back home. This makes sense to my soul.
This
it
familiar.
felt home. Yeah, it felt like home. So now I'm understanding how Guruji is able to bring us together.
Yeah.
He knows every person and what they are attracted to, and then that. Because there was no Kriya, you wouldn't have come.
No.
If there was no bag, if it was Kriya for me, I would never have. I've told you how many times I struggle with Kriya, but I don't struggle with scriptures. I read all the time. It's so easy for me.
You are a good teacher. You understand?
Thank you.
Because I remember like that time you are explaining to me the difference between Vishnu and all that. I was like, and I couldn't get it, but I was like, how do you know? How do you know all this?
Yeah.
And you're telling me, so this one, you know, you
When
were
I was
with
explaining
Sammy.
to Sam,
Yeah, we were explaining to Sam, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
gosh, how does she know all this? For me, all I need was yoga and meditation and now chanting.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't want too much information.
Yeah.
You remember, I was always like very clear. I don't want like too much information. I just want a short, like maybe it's a shortcut to get now to God, that God relationship.
Yeah, no, but you see now it's funny because for me, scriptures is a shortcut, and you, meditation and chanting
yoga,
is a shortcut, which is so hectic for me, man. Anyway, so you're asking me about being skeptical. I was explaining that I was, other than the scripture part, I was skeptical about now. Swami started talking about Guruji. I mean, I'm like, me, I don't want the stories. I don't want, like, what are you talking about? And then the miracles he was doing, I wasn't impressed, by the way. And by the way, that's another thing I've stopped doing to people, telling them about Guruji and miracles. Because I'm like, people are just like, anybody can do miracles. I mean, the devil can do miracles. What's the big deal? So even me, I wasn't. And I was skeptical because I didn't want to go back again to a religious setting. So what happened is, what happened are two things. One, I was curious about meeting this so-called guru that is doing all these things. So I've told this story before. I went to the picture that was there in the temple. Then I was like, apparently you do miracles. Make me come see you. I hear you're coming to Mauritius. You do something. If I come, I'll believe you. So hiyo nikaondoa. The next thing about being initiated, it just happened. So Swami had told us to be initiated into devotees. Me, when I hear initiation, I'm like, I see Mount Kenya, people taking oaths. Initiation is just a bad word. They need another word for it. I didn't want.
Do you have issues with attachment, with commitment?
I don't even think I had a problem with being a devotee. I had a problem with that word initiation. It looked like something that tutafanywa. It sounded like cultic. Like a cult. We are going to be now to join something. I didn't want anything to do with that. So Swami had said after the yagna which it rained, we will be initiated. So I had gone to work and I purposely wanted to delay so that I don't get initiated. Wapi. I came, the yagna wasn't over.
Yeah, it was late.
Yes,
Swami had a stomach upset.
Yeah, coincidentally. So now yagna hadn't issued, so I was able to get the blessings. Then initiation happened. So guys were told to go to now the house we were supposed to go to. And all through I didn't want still. So that's, I think I even asked you to come if I didn't. I just wanted help, like what are we?
Support. I remember it was,
we were three. We were with Bansi in the car as well.
Yeah, and also M.
Yeah, and then Bansi I started asking Bansi, what is this all about? She started explaining
to us well all the way. Because there was chanting and then now you are in initiation.
I felt in my soul that I wanted to. That's the other thing about spirituality, and I love this, that I can follow my gut. My gut always guides me. It never fails me. So I remember feeling pushed towards, let me go this way, let me not go this way. It was like I could go to Ubuntu, like we said, I was in Ubuntu, and I could stay here and go to this initiation thing, but I felt drawn to that. Anyway, I was in the car, we were going to another place. Then I was still asking questions, but still, when I got to that, we were going somewhere to do chanting. I asked Guruji. At this point, I had started talking to Guruji because for me, talking to God in my heart was a thing. So it wasn't hard. I'm like, this guy, let me try him. So I told him, if you want me to be initiated, give me a sign. So I'm still very skeptical, very, not afraid. I wasn't afraid. I was just like, see, I can follow you without being your devotee. So when the chanting ensued, I had, for the first time, we had done chantings many times now after we met Swami. I don't know if you ever came to any of them. Yeah. So guys used to always say, I have had trumpets, I have had, I'm like, what do you people mean? I just had home. That day, I had people playing drums.
I remember. I was there.
Did you hear drums?
No, for me, what I used to hear was the flute.
Those flutes may never had. They may have drums, man. I'm like, what the hell is happening? I opened my eyes because I had closed my eyes. Yeah. I'm looking around, no drums. People are just chanting. I'm like, shit. My eyes started crying. I'm like, oh my God. And they were so clear and they took so long. Yeah, I was like, here comes my sign, the sign that I wanted. So after the chanting, Swami told us to remain behind. It's private, obviously, but what I can say about it, you're given a mantra, and then I remember the photo of my guru is always there. It's also here as we record this. So I went to the photo and was like, wait, who are you person? Who is making me do things against my will? Because I'm like the most stubborn person I know next to my mother.
Yeah.
Who are you that is making me do these things? I have resisted and resisted. I need to meet you. I actually talked to him like that. Swami was laughing at me because I think I was saying it out loud. I don't know. But I couldn't understand why these things are happening. So the answer to your question was, it just happened. But I felt very good. But my mind is still fighting, but my heart was okay. Long story short, I went to Mauritius. So
how did you go to
something
Mauritius?
happened.
How did it happen?
See, now I told the photo, I need to meet you. Who is making me do weird things? So this is April, May. I go to Mauritius in October. So he happened to be coming to Mauritius, and then I just got a ticket. Like, it's a long story.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that happened in between. Very many miracles by the way started happening in my life. Eventually I got a ticket to Mauritius, which was 60K or something. 59K, some weird amount of money. I got a ticket and then I went. He was in for pilgrimage, and then me and another lady who I'm sure you'll see later, rather Priyadasi, we went to Mauritius, and then I met him. And then the first time I saw him, I keep looking there because he's there.
Maybe you can show them.
My lovely guru. My Guruji. He's so beautiful. So the first time I saw him, I remember he was walking down the stairs in his home. He was born in Mauritius, so he was in where he was born, the house in which he lived when he was young. And then when I saw him walking, I can only explain what I saw. I could sense divinity when I saw him. I will never forget it. He just was coming towards me, and I could automatically see something different about him as he was coming. And he was in green, and then I could just sense divinity. There's no other way to explain it. Then when he came outside and he said hi to me and Pauline, I'm looking at his eyes. And I'm looking into his eyes, and his eyes are so beautiful. And I can't say it. Then Pauline, she's more confident. She's like, oh my God, your eyes. I'm like, exactly. I was thinking it. His eyes look so beautiful. They look like they're going on and on and on and on. And I wanted to go inside them and just go with them. They're so beautiful, you guys. Yeah, that was my first encounter with him. And when he nothing. Have you had lunch? Welcome. Like, normal things. But when also he greeted me, that moment, the moment I saw his divinity, that's what I'm saying. And then when he came and I saw his eyes, I just knew, because I felt some sort of, not warmth, not cold, not feelings, but homeliness, like a love. I can't explain it. It's just, I want to be here forever and ever and ever. There's something about you. And I also felt like I had seen him before.
Oh,
familiar. Yeah, I had someone talking about, Mayuran was talking about his first encounter, and he said the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I remember feeling like I'd met him before, but I hadn't, and it wasn't through the photos. I just felt like I knew him from somewhere. Yeah, that was my first encounter, and the rest is history. Yeah, so it was my skepticism that took me to Mauritius. It was a pull of my soul to be initiated and become his devotee. And when I went to India, because it looked like it happened so in quick succession, I went to India because after I spent time with him, I spent a week with him. I could not.
It's not enough.
Wow, gosh, you guys, man, everyone should just. You see now my excitement. I'm like, everyone needs this dose of love. You want to be with him constantly. So when I came back home and I knew he was going to India, my heart was just like, why are we in Kenya? See, we go. We are going. So I just wanted to be back with him again. I wanted to be with him again. So he graced me enough, and I went to see him again in India. Thankfully, there was COVID, so there was a lockdown. So I continued staying with him for like a longer period, which was my prayer, by the way. Yeah, and then now I came back, and then shit started hitting the fan.
Before you tell us
honeymoon period was so short-lived, but it was very beautiful.
How was the Indian experience in India?
With him or just generally?
Generally.
I mean, India has weird weather, first of all. It was so cold. And then it was extremely hot, like highs of 46-ish. but it was beautiful because we were in Vrindavan, which is where Krishna, now that I had learnt about Krishna, has spent part of his life. We went to certain pilgrimage sites, and the thing about me is that I am very perceptive to energies. So when we went to places where Krishna was said to have been, I could feel that extreme energy, just positive energy. It was very beautiful for me. It was an amazing experience, spending it with Guruji, spending it with the pilgrims. It was amazing. I loved going to the temples. I think that's why I developed my love for temples, because I love temples. I used to love them from outside before. I just used to look at temples and people going to temples and I'm like, those people. Especially when I was in Parklands. But nowadays I can enter.
Yeah.
But we went to so many temples in Vrindavan and I just loved it. There's so much positive energy. So in general, it was amazing.
What about the other people, the Indians who will see you? How was the reception?
First, I was the only black person. Except Swami, and Swami is a Swami.
Swami is a Swami?
Yeah, I was the only black person.
And Swami is not black.
Yeah. So they used to look at me funny, but treat me really well. Yes, that was new. They used to treat me very nicely. Yeah, I don't know why. I liked it. I like special treatment. But I was the only, even in the pilgrim, I was the only African. The others were white people.
Nice.
So many white people follow Guruji for some reason. Yeah. So, not for some reason. It's because he's spreading his message there for now in Europe. But it was it was just
a good experience.
It was, they found it, especially if I have the tilak on, they're like, that's strange. But it was just generally a good experience. I liked the way they treated me.
There's something you mentioned about karma and samsara. Samskara.
Samskaras are impressions that you get in life. They are Sanskrit words, no need to be hung up. You can just call them impressions. Samsara is the cycle of death and rebirth. So now, this is another thing that I like about Hinduism.
Yeah.
Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, not Hinduism.
Just generally.
It's like the philosophy of Hinduism has the concept of reincarnation, which people will debate till kingdom come. It's okay, keep debating. And birth and rebirth is reincarnation, and that's samsara and karma. And the reason why in wahenga walisema sijui kama walisema ama everything you do italipiwa tu huku duniani. Utalipiwa tu huku duniani meant that if I do something to you right now, people do this a lot. You do something and you think you'll escape, especially if you die. So if nothing happens to you and you die, you think you escape. Whether it's good or bad, doesn't have to be bad. If you do a good thing, you're charitable and you need to get a reward, and you die before, you have to come back so that you're repaid, and vice versa. You're an asshole to people, you have to come back and get repaid. It's that simple.
So
you can't get out.
You posted something the other day that you must have been an asshole for it to watch.
My people. It's looking at my life and I'm like, what did I do? This is another day. This is another whole show. No, by that time I was joking. But it's something that has been on my mind every time I look at my life. So the philosophy states that everything we are going through is our karma. So simply physics. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. If you do an action, you have to get an equal and opposite reaction. If you're good, you get good results. If you're bad, you get bad results. The consequences. So if you look at your life right now, whatever you're going through is a consequence of something you did. And that is also why metaphysics and spiritual people and what are they called? New Agers, people use this concept of you create your own reality. That's what they mean. The reality you're going through right now, you created it. Now the best you can do is manage. You manage circumstances right now. Yeah. So it's no use feeling a victim. It's no use blaming people. Just live, accept your karma. Don't be a martyr.
Yeah, martyr.
Don't be a martyr a victim of your circumstances, because that doesn't even help you. Accept that you created it and then move on. Remember that you can't get out.
Yeah.
So you will die, you will get another body, and you'll come back and continue from where you stopped.
What if you commit suicide?
You commit suicide, you die, you get another body, you come back. And then you live out the consequences of damaging that which God created. Life is precious. You didn't just get it. So if God gave you life and you took it without his permission, you have to pay for it. So suicide is counterproductive. I actually wanted to do a video on how suicide is counterproductive. You're running away from something instead of dealing with it. Just deal with it and move on. I'm sure this is a controversial subject, but for the people who commit suicide, it's counterproductive. You're not running away from anything. And as a former suicide attempter, now that I know this, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't even waste that time. Because you're wasting time. Because when you die and you get a new body, you have to live out life all over again. Instead of start learning what you need to learn and start managing life. Use this opportunity to manage your life and create a better life in the future. The only way to get out is if God wants you out and he comes and graces you to get out. Otherwise, it's very hard to get. You can't get out of the cycle. I was reading somewhere and they were saying life is like a prison. Here, it's actually the Bhagavad Gita that look at life as a prison where you're fed. You know how you keep prisoners, you don't kill them because you need them to get punished. So you'll ensure that everything is working for them, but then it's a prison where ukitoka utarudi. Like that's what samsara and karma is. They're intertwined. So you can't understand reincarnation without understanding karma, and you can't understand karma without understanding reincarnation.
Yeah, actually Hinduism helped me with my suicidal thoughts. I've attempted suicide I think 3 times. But for some reason, God kept me and all that. But in Christianity, we're just told like it's wrong. But for me, I want to understand why is it wrong.
Yeah.
But in Hinduism, it is explained very well. This is an opportunity to be alive as a human being in a spiritual path. It's a gift.
Yes. Why is it a gift?
Because you are able now to save your soul. You know.
You save your soul who you really are.
Who you really are, because you are not your body. You are, your soul. So it's a great, great opportunity. So when you take this opportunity and squash it and, just take it as something that, is not important, and the amount of souls which are willing, are praying, are begging to come as humans.
See, are many people. There's a queue of people wanting to come to earth.
That's the worst disrespect you can do to God.
Yeah.
So when I came to learn that, then I stopped. Like somehow, I just stopped. I came now to appreciate the gift of life and the gift of being a human being and the gift of being on a spiritual path. And I cream on the whole thing, having a guru.
Yeah, that's his work, by the way. When you become his devotee, the other thing we were told during initiation was his work, I said, is to get us out of this. So to deliver us to God is to go back to God, to source. His work is hiyo ndo kazi yake, amekuja huku kututoa. So he keeps giving us all these tools to help us dig and get our true selves. Then he'll take those souls and take them back to God. Yeah. That's his work.
So that's one thing I really appreciate Hinduism for, because I was still adamant. I kept asking God, like, why are you keeping me here? So just like, I'm going just through so much pain and suffering, like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so we respect people's pain.
Yeah.
But there's a better way to deal with it.
Yeah. And the pain stops, because the things that I wanted to kill myself for, yeah.
I know, thinking about it now.
Can you remember?
I can't even remember, and I've gone through worse things.
Yeah.
So it wasn't worth dying.
It wasn't worth dying for.
Yeah.
At this moment,
thinking about it,
At this moment, it may feel like it is so intense, and like that is the only way out. But I can assure you,
it's not.
It stops. The pain stops, because I know for me, the reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted the pain to stop.
Yeah.
But the pain stops, and then you learn, and then you move on, and then you forget. Because I don't remember some of the second, I don't remember exactly where I wanted maybe to commit suicide, like the first time.
Me, I was probably in pain because I don't know what my parents did. A kid, stupid. Oh my God. Oh wow.
And then you realize the people who are making you want to do these things, they're just being themselves. Why can't you just be yourself and just don't give a care about what people think or what they expect from you?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't live your life to please people or to be accepted by these people. these people will not be with them in the next life.
Imagine what we should be focusing on in this life is getting out.
Eh.
Work on getting out because we want to run away from pain. Even the Gita says that get out, work, finish, use this opportunity as a human, get your soul, redeem yourself, use the opportunity to have someone who can help you because you can't work yourself out. Okay, you can. Now I'm going into whatever. What I want to say is that use this opportunity and the time that you have, which is very short, to work your way out of this samsara.
Yeah. And secondly, you are not a victim. Whatever you are going through, most probably it is part of your karma.
Yeah.
Because after Pauline's Nini Yagna, I'm just so humbled about everything because she's the sweetest soul. And then when the birth chart reading happened, and I'm like, wait a minute, who is this person?
Do you know there are people who have an issue with that thing of karma? That are you saying that people who are going through like imagine the worst thing, that is also their karma? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
But people have a problem with the concept of karma and reincarnation because it looks so damn painful. That's something that I want to acknowledge here because I'm sure it will probably be in the comment section. Like the videos I've watched of karma and reincarnation, people have a problem with people who are going through dire. Like seriously, someone who is in Northeastern not eating or whatever, is that person's karma?
Yeah,
look. There's a caveat. It's karma is not black and white. That's another thing people need to know. It's not black and white, like automatically everyone who is suffering, they did something wrong. It's not that simplistic. That's very a simplistic attitude to take on. There are so many other things, like a soul choosing a certain experience. True. Some souls just choose to have certain experiences because it will help them evolve. What we were talking about, removing and finding your true self. Some people choose experiences. Yeah. And they choose experiences before they incarnate. Then when they come here, the rule is the same. Everybody forgets. You forget that is what you chose for your soul, soul experience or life experience. And then you go through it, and then the rest of us are looking at you like, oh yeah. You see? Yeah. Now, so I need to emphasize, please listen, karma is not black and white. So don't come being all mean, thinking that I'm saying that everyone is going through. It's not as black and white as I had said it initially. There are so many other aspects to karma. But for sure, there is consequences to actions. Yeah.
Because sometimes we're having a discussion, and the point was that sometimes also your karma chooses the kind of parents you will have. It also chooses the area that you're going to be born. Yeah. So, but there are souls that decide, because I want to speed up my process, I want to have a certain kind of life that may not be pleasant to a lot of people, so that I can focus on my spirituality and not just focus on anything else.
Material.
So, it's hard to determine whether someone is going through a karmic experience or it is just a life path that they chose.
Yeah, there's so many intricacies to this philosophy. It's not just one, that's why it's philosophy.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about karma and reincarnation. And yes, the reason why you reincarnate is because you're not your body. She said it's your soul, and a soul will never die. It's energy, so you can't destroy energy. So it will go and pick. It goes with certain things, your mind, your impressions. Then it will go and pick a body and then come back and then live out again and again. And you have millions and millions of lives. But then also, Krishna says in the Gita that the way he's the one who's in charge of Maya, and he's the one who created the world as it is. So even how it is okay. It's just how he wants it to be. So wherever you're at is dignified, because he's the one who's controlling you anyway. So uko tu sawa. Like everyone is just fine. It's just that it happens that mi na yeye tunataka kuenda.
Like yesterday, like
what? We are those words of Krishna that he has activated to want to leave.
What do you guys like about being in this earth? Because literally for me,
I don't think it's a thing of, it's not a mind thing where someone wants to be on earth. It's the way Krishna will. You see, if Krishna just accepted, let all of us go, we'd all go. But nobody would be left here for these souls wenye tumesema wamepanga line wakuja watapata nani. So what he'll do is that he will give you that thinking where you think you're okay here. You won't see anything wrong. Because me, I've talked to many people and they're like, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to live? But it's just how Krishna has made it. It needs to not look excruciating to some people. Watu husema ni life tu. Ni yeye, ni Krishna ameitengeneza hivyo, ni Mungu ameitengeneza hivyo, ndo hatuwezi chukia si wote, na pia hatuwezi penda si wote. So kila mtu ako na part yake yenye ana play in the bigger whole. Ni kama mwili iko na macho na nini, si zote hazifanani. So macho inaona, masikia hivyo. It's literally the same concept. So it should not be the same. But at the end of time, the day he gets tired of all this, he's like, kujani sawa basi. That time in the future, if he ever decides that. But until he decides that, tuko tu hapa. Me, I can just say I am glad to be part of the people who feel the need to live. But it doesn't demean anyone else who's not. Because he's as equally a part of Krishna. And Krishna will help him live through life. Or God will help him live through that experience perfectly. So all of us are the same. The way we said he sees us the same, we are all the same.
Everybody just playing their role, and the only way you can play your role is when you are authentically yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You do not have, you cannot, when you copy other people, then you are not being yourself, and it's you'll keep being here, like, and you're not adding value, because the souls that are coming, they need you. Even for, because like the way you remember the levels, there are people who are yogis, there are people who are kamis, there are people who are brahmas and all that.
Yes.
So you have to play your role. When you don't play your role, the soul that is coming, who is going to guide them? Nobody is useless. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a role to play, but you cannot do it when you're not yourself.
And you can only be yourself if you have someone to guide you towards being yourself. You can't do it yourself either. I'm sorry, it's not possible. That's why we go to school. If you could teach yourself, even homeschoolers, they still have someone to teach them. Because kuna mtu angesema hivyo. So we have to go to school to have a teacher to help us. So even in spirituality, you have to have someone. Even in life coaching, you still have to have a coach. Even the coach of the coach of the coach has to have a coach. Everyone has to have someone. Everyone, even we have guardian angels. Even, like, you have to have someone who protects you. You can't do it yourself. But for the people who want to do it themselves, we respect you. Yeah,
it's harder, it's tougher. I think for us, we got a shortcut.
It's a shortcut.
We have our guru. We are one family because we share the same guru, and life has been worth it. It's been more positive, to be totally honest. My life has been more positive since I joined. I found Guruji and all that.
He found you, rather. The guru finds the disciple.
Yeah, he found that. Yeah, true.
Since I've met Guruji, like I'd say, my life is still the same, but it's easier with someone. And it doesn't mean, I can't lie. I used to think my life would be better. Like, I thought things would be smooth. I'm in bliss.
I know you used to ask me for money.
Way. Another thing that happens, I know that's going to be controversial, is that a guru, an enlightened master, a divine being, fast tracks your karma. So that means, si tumesema, utashinda ukirudi so that you can finish your karma. Now imagine this is the only life I have left, and I have karma for like truckloads of karma. So what he does is that he brings it all from the future lives and makes me live it out in this life. So it's probably all good and all bad. Like, spiritual life isn't rosy.
It is not rosy.
But
it's
not
bliss.
Simpler. Bliss is later. I think it's supposed to be, you finish your uchungu here, then you go find bliss there. I think. It's not rosy. At least not here. It's not rosy. I guess that's what I want to say about it. So that people don't come, because I see that also people who used to go for, I've seen people coming, or I have heard people talk about experiences where they came to God or to Guruji thinking life would be rosy.
That's me,
And then it didn't change, even me. Like, I won't lie. I swear I thought my life would change for the better. And then after India, nothing changed. If it didn't become even worse. So life is not rosy. It's just easier to bear.
It's easier to bear. True.
That's true. That's a misconception.
That's true.
And it has nothing to do with materiality. Please understand. We said we have testimonies about basic needs always being met, but you still have to go through your shit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't negate, should we ever start living out our good karma and our lives changed materially, it doesn't mean it's because of spirituality. It's just we are
just
living
life.
out life. Yeah,
It's just life.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
It's just life we are living out, and now it stopped being this way. It's just become this other way.
Yeah, and you stop now living in duality. What happened now in spirituality, you do not now try to define things as either good or bad.
Yes.
It is just an experience, and you at the end of the day, you know someone got my hand. Like, I'm not going to drown in this situation, whether if it is negative, I know I'm not going to drown in this because someone is holding my hand. So if I trip, he'll pull me up and I'll be able now to get out of the situation. If something is what I presume good, I will not get attached to it because I know at the end of the day, it is just an experience and something else is coming.
The thing that Guruji has taught me that has stuck, and I got it from what she said, is to transform the mind. So the nature of the mind stays, but what you do, it's like, it stays, but what you do is that you just, it's like a cheat code. So you change the mind and give it something else to attach to focus on. So then it doesn't focus on the one negative experience, doesn't attach to the positive experience, it attaches to something else, which is now Guruji. And I've also explained this in some of the videos that I've said that the mind needs to focus on something. I'm repeating myself. So what a guru does is that we are able to, he comes in, he's a form. The mind and the senses, you see, you smell, you taste, form things, tangible things. So he needs to be tangible. Or Jesus, when he came, he was tangible enough for his disciples to attach to him, to hold on to him. So that's why we still have the sign of the cross. We have things that symbolize him, like
to remind us of
to remind us of him. They have to be in a form way so that your mind focuses on him. That is now the benefit of having now a living guru, a living master, because now our mind
have a form to focus on.
We instead of focusing on the situation, you keep remembering him. You keep shepherding your mind to focus on him, and you attach to him and like, Guruji, Aki, help me. Or when you're excited, you're like, oh, thank you, Guruji. So you see everything keeps going back to him. That's another benefit.
And him being divine, so you are focusing on divinity.
Yeah.
So, I think that's
and
awesome.
It helps because it's so super quick. Like, honestly, we can give you enough experiences of Guruji getting us out of shit just when we thought of him. Like, you're in a situation and you chant his name or the mantra that he's given us, and something just resolves itself.
I told you even about that friend of ours.
Yeah.
That friend of ours, he's not even a devotee.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a friend of ours. He's
Who
not
knows
even
him?
a
He's
devotee,
a follower.
But he knows Guruji. And every time he, I don't know.
Light.
Yeah. So he knows him, but he's not a devotee. But he listens to him and talks to him, and he's been in situations whereby he will think of him, and then Guruji will come through for him, and he's not even a devotee. Yes. When you have that kind of form, like
you don't know how many times Guruji has he's helped me, like, just before my boss calls, and he calls many times to catch me in the wrong. Nakwanga nimetoka nimerudi. I'm like, Guruji, thank you. Like, this hour, I'm just feeling like I need to dash out. Then something tells me, no, stay. Then he calls, then now I can go pee. Even if it's a genuine thing. Like, oh my God, you guys, man.
That's why I keep telling you guys, you might be rejected in one angle, in one setup, but trust you me, you'll find your family. You'll find your family, you'll find your tribe.
Your tribe.
Don't stay in a situation whereby you are being mistreated, you are suffering for no reason. Trust you me, you'll find your tribe.
And there's love waiting for you.
Yeah, the unconditional.
Love. My guru is love incarnate. He will just love you. His weakness is loving us, man.
And with him, I said, you remember my experience when I first met him, and you guys, we had that meeting. and everybody was sharing their experience. And I told you guys, like, he's the one person who has looked at me the way I like being looked at. You remember?
Yeah.
He's the one person who talked to me the way I like being talked to. And he's the one person who made me feel like a real person. You know, when you come from a background of where there is rejection, and then someone just comes and embraces you and wants you, you know, it's not even accepting you, because accepting you means like you offer yourself and then they accept. No, for them, they come looking for you.
Mm.
You know, he came all the way from Germany looking for me and seeking me out and, you know, grabbing me and holding me. People, don't stay in that situation, by the way. Just get out of that situation and find your people. Find the people who love you.
Yeah.
And I know for in this case, I don't even have to pretend. I don't even have to be nice.
Yes. Yes. I do not have to follow rules.
Yeah.
I do not have to do anything, man.
And you have just to be real.
I can wear trousers in peace.
Yes.
Lord. I can chant his name anywhere. Day, I wake up at night and I'm chanting his name. I yawn and I call Guruji. Someone was like, oh, yo, there's a time I think I know how I think you were falling and you said Jesus or something. So I said Jesus because I'm used to it. Then my cousins were like, oh, I thought now you call Krishna. I'm like, my God, it's the same person. But now I yawn and I call Guruji.
Yeah.
Like, as in I call both of them, but my point was
I call him the same person, just different names.
So it's not all. We're not saying that it's all grace.
It's
your.
He disciplines us.
Love. You see in the Bible how love is all those things.
Yeah.
Love is patient. Love is this. Love is, but also love disciplines. Yeah.
And
like
corrects.
Corrects. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I've noticed that, and generally my life is better with him in it.
That's better. Me, I can't imagine my life without my guru. I have told him that enough time. I can't. I am dependent on him. Codependent on him. At least it's a divine being that I'm codependent. Ana damages na hata ni treat vibaya na ako narcissistic, ako na hizo hang-ups.
Yeah, true.
I am dependent, codependent. Name it. I am.
Well, we cannot finish this conversation.
We can't finish talking about Guruji.
But she'll come back. I will look for her. And we will talk. We'll talk about our experiences and what we've learned. We'll share with you what we've learned. Maybe it will help. And yeah, if you have any questions, she has her Instagram, Rose Jones. Yeah, and she shares some insights. See, she told you she's a teacher. She actually took a course that I could not take.
Hindu philosophy, my friend. So, if you have any questions on Hinduism, on the Bhakti Marga especially path, the path of Bhakti Marga and everything on that line, Aki, she's just the right person to go to. You can check her Instagram and you can ask her the questions there. You do have YouTube? No. I have YouTube,
YouTube,
but I prefer Facebook. YouTube is
Facebook.
a dog. Yeah, Facebook Rose Jones. Jones.
What's your YouTube channel? I've never seen it.
Trilokia Sundaridasi.
It
has like one view, one subscriber.
Yeah, but that's how we all started. Your videos.
Cool. Yeah, the same videos I post on Facebook are the ones I post on YouTube.
Oh, see,
so
you guys go there.
The page is, I want to grow the Facebook page first. And then people can go to YouTube later. Just find me on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And
find her everywhere. If YouTube is Trilokia, Trilokia Sundaridasi. I will look for actually I didn't know she had a YouTube channel. I knew about Facebook and Instagram, Rose Jones, but I will look for the link and I'll put all the links down there. And then, if you want to learn, me, by the way, I'm not here to teach you. I'm here to make you think. My purpose in your life is to make you think, because there's a lot of information. The point is, which is the true information and which is not. Because you guys just take information and just digest it and take it as the gospel truth. You need to ask and whatever. She's the right person to go to. For me, I don't have that deep knowledge, psychological knowledge, philosophy. That philosophy knowledge, I do not have that, to be honest. But she's the right person to go to. And she's so knowledgeable. I can assure you. That's why I invited her. She's so knowledgeable. Mimi sijuangi maneno. Me, I'm just there. Mimi ukiniuliza mambo ya meditation, yoga, chanting, sawa. Because for me I'm that lazy. And food. Apparently.
But she's such a good cook, we come here to eat.
So, ndacha links zake zote. I'll leave all her links there. If you like her vibe, she's a vibe. You see, we could keep on talking like the whole day.
We talk for the whole damn night.
We talk and talk and talk. So, she's a vibe, trust you me. And that's why I say, si nilikataliwa huko kwenye nilikuwa. I came here nikapata mabeshte wa nguvu. So, wewe kama mali huko and then you feel uncomfortable, you feel disrespected, you feel not accepted, toka utapata watu wako. Trust you me and be yourself. You don't have to pretend anywhere to be accepted. In our community, just come and people will accept you the way you are. Na penye kuna shida utafanywa panel beating na guruji and everything will be fine.
That's true.
Anyway, thank you so much and see you in the next episode and bye. What do you have to say?
Namaste.
Do you say namaste? We say Jai Gurudev.
We say Jai Gurudev.
We say Jai Gurudev in our community.